Hi, gang. Mean Gene Okerlund from WWE. And hey, you're listening to another wrestling podcast.
Another wrestling podcast!
Happy New Year. It's 2019. It's another wrestling podcast. Oh, guys, we're back for another year.
Hold on. Before we get started, Cooter,
What?
did you take your pre-podcast drug test?
Fuck you, Cologne. Seriously, it's a long-term metabolite. All right, it's only a picogram. Let's keep it moving. Let's move on. Move on.
I'm gonna protest that shit. Anyway, continue.
A new year, new drug tests, new everything for everybody else, guys. Guys, we're days into 2019. A lot of things are supposed to happen. A lot of things could happen. A lot of things already begun happening. But hey, do we have any New Year's resolutions out there for the world of wrestling, or just yourself, guys? What do you plan on doing? Do you plan on being a better you this year?
No, I actually plan on being an even worse human being than I was last year. And my New Year's resolution is the second that the full video drops, I am going to watch that Tony Storm video over and over and over. When are you bitches gonna learn not to put your shit in the fucking cloud? Seriously. We went from...
Yeah, there's a whole thing. Everybody's rising up. We're with Tony Storm and this and that, but I think it's just that her ex-boyfriend probably posted it online, so I don't think it was even leaked. It was just one of those revenge porn things. I don't know. That's a new year, new leaks.
Don't screw over your significant others, I guess. It's a new year, same me. I ain't gonna be one of those people. It's gonna be the same bullshit, all that stuff. My New Year's resolution, though, is I want to get in the Infinity Gauntlet, right? And I just want to go to the fucking gym and just snap my fingers, and hopefully half of the existence in that gym just vanishes. Because the thing I hate the fucking most is New Year's resolutioners. I can't stand it. I can't fucking stand it. It's every year around this time. It starts January 2nd. That gym becomes beyond packed. You can't do anything. They're like the Walking Dead in there. They're zombies. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They're babysitting a bench here. They're texting over here. They're clueless over there. Today,
selfies over here.
Oh my god. Today I wanted to kill a bunch of them. Fucking, I like to use the foam roller to roll my back out before I work out. There's 10 of them in the fucking building. All 10 of them are gone. There's a group of them that are using them to balance each other and walk across the field on them. I really wanted to kick one of them. I wanted to fucking do a beautiful Randy Orton drop kick and just nail one of them. I see another one. Oh no, there's this one lady I've never seen before in my fucking life that's fucking cuddling next to the goddamn thing.
Cuddling.
Right? Not doing anything, she's fucking cuddling with it. I don't know what the hell she was doing. It's annoying. I get pissed off at this time of year. Cooter, I'm stealing your gimmick because this is the time of year I go fucking crazy at that goddamn gym.
You know it's great, man.
Shit.
I gotta cut you off, man. My gym is a beautiful fucking gym. It's a basement gym. You don't get too many of those New Year, New Me people, you know, because it's that dark, dingy man kind of gym. I don't know if you're like Planet
I gotta
Fitness
stay
or some
strong.
shit.
Gotta stay strong. In a month, they're gonna be gone, and it's gonna be back to normal. It's just I don't understand people. I don't get it. Why wait all year round to January to get your fitness goals? Start some other time. Don't. It's like, oh, February hits. Oh well, 2020. New year, new me. Can't wait. I'm going to the gym in 2020. Meanwhile, it's fucking February. Oh my god.
They just gotta...
Sorry, guys. I had to get that out of my fucking system.
Just do what I do and don't go. New year, just stay home.
Before we get any further, 2018 just ended, but I had a chance to speak with Alicia Atout last week, and we talked a little bit about how 2018 was, and maybe what 2019 will bring. So please welcome Alicia Atout.
Hey guys, it's Alicia Atout here. 2018 was an incredible year for wrestling, and I have to say one of my favorite moments was being there at one of the most historic events of the year, All In. Being backstage, seeing all of these legends, all of these future legends, seeing history in the making was incredible. I get so emotional talking about it because as soon as that event was announced, I knew I wanted to be a part of it, and luckily I had the opportunity to be a part of it. And it was my favorite night of the entire year. There were so many incredible moments. There were so many tears of happiness backstage, and I got to hang out with so many of my friends. And just for wrestling, seeing what Cody Rhodes, seeing what the Bucks were able to put together, it was magical. It was such a magical night. So that, for me, I have to throw it in there, was the best moment of 2018.
Oh, wow. Alicia, thanks for stopping by. I think all of us would have to agree with you. That was probably one of the biggest things of the year. Thanks so much. But speaking of 2018, and that was also quite the year for you, if you will, a breakout kind of star year for you, if I would have to say. Do you feel overwhelmed yet with everything you've been thrown at?
It's been a little bit overwhelming, but in the best of ways. My site really took off as far as the wrestling interviews go, and then I was able to do tons of the Canadian tapings for Impact Wrestling. Then I got involved in All In, and that led to even more independent shows for me. It's just been this incredible ride, and the exciting part is I've not even gotten to 2019 yet, and all of these things are already starting. I have all of these plans, and it's really exciting to see everything come together. It was a crazy year.
Definitely. And for everybody that's living under a rock, AMBY, a music blog, how did that fall into the world of wrestling? Can you take us back a little bit, maybe let some people out there know basically how you got started with AMBY and basically how that all twisted into the world of wrestling?
Yeah, absolutely. So in class, I used to write a ton of reviews. I would literally just sit there in class and write in my notebook. And my parents found out that I was writing these random music reviews, and they told me to put it online. So, being a good kid, I listened. And luckily, it caught on. And so I did that for a few years, where I'd write reviews, go to shows in the photo pit, concerts, and do photography. And that kind of led to my interviews. And it started with email interviews, then phoners, and then tons of those sit-downs that I'm known for now. And a few years in, once things got fairly big, I decided to try a wrestling interview. And it was amazing. The response from my fan base was great. There was no negativity. When you try something new, you don't know if people are going to catch on to it or not. And luckily, the crossover of wrestling and music, it's a beautiful thing. So many musicians like wrestling. Obviously, everyone likes music, so that also goes for wrestlers. So the crossover was absolutely incredible. And so I went after that first interview and just kept doing more wrestling ones and more, and I have not looked back for the last 2 years.
Awesome. Now, we talked about the best things of 2018. How about for you? What was maybe one of the best interviews that you personally enjoyed for yourself in 2018?
It's so difficult because I hosted, I think, over 500 of them. It was such a crazy year. But one of the most recent ones that I absolutely loved was sitting down with Chris Jericho again. Mm-hmm. He was hot on a Fozzy tour right off of the Jericho cruise. It was a month and a half after his special appearance at All In, and there was just so much happening for him. Not to mention the New Japan return, which was crazy. So having him back on the show, not only one of my favorite wrestlers, but so many other people's favorite wrestler, it was just amazing. We got to talk about the cruise, talk about tons of great moments he had for 2018. Before he even announced the Jericho cruise, the second one, he told it to me on the show. So he's a rock star. He's great. So having him on was awesome again.
Awesome. Now, we talked a little bit about 2018. How about for 2019? Can we look into that crystal ball? Can you predict? Can you guess? Or maybe just say what you want to see in 2019 for any promotion, yourself, AMBY? What do you see in the year ahead?
Ooh, that's such a tricky question, because I think back, when I think of 2018, there were so many surprises that I didn't know was going to happen. So I think, just thinking based upon rumors and my hopes, I would really love to see this All Elite Wrestling come together. Not only because I'm a fan, but it would be so incredible to be involved in something like that. So my hopes are high that will come together, whether it is the form of All Elite Wrestling or some other name. But that would be absolutely amazing to see. Otherwise, I think in terms of what I want to do, it's just working with lots of other cool promotions. Over last year, I had the chance of working with places from NEW to Beyond Wrestling to Destiny Wrestling. Like, it was all over the place between Canada and the States. And I think also seeing what other spots are doing outside of North America too is really exciting. So I'd like to kind of venture into that a bit, but
Nice.
oh, it's so hard to predict.
Yeah,
I think I'm
put you on the
excited
spot.
for the surprises.
No, for sure. And that AEW, All Elite Wrestling, we don't know too much about what's going to happen, but I mean, that's definitely something I think, if something big is going to happen in 2019, hopefully it happens with that, because I think competition is good for everybody. So it's a nice little look ahead. But going back now, our name, Another Wrestling Podcast, only goes with the fact that wrestling podcasts are a dime a dozen these days. But many people want to be heard. They want a podcast. They want to interview and so on. What advice would you give to somebody new, and maybe somebody who's been around for a while, as far as getting to the level of success that you've gotten to this year? Do you have any tips or advice of things you've done that, I don't know, maybe you could tell others?
I think a big thing is to be authentic, whether you're a total goofball or you come off a certain way. I mean, just be yourself, because that's what people really cling to. Another thing is, don't be afraid to be embarrassed or nervous. When I first started, I was so freaked out to be in front of a camera, because I thought, what if I say something wrong? What if something happens? It's so spontaneous. What do I do? And as soon as you get past that mind screw, you are good to go. So don't let that get to you at all. The people that you're talking with, your interviewees, they're just people. Sure, they might be rock stars or these massive wrestlers, but they're just people. And I think you really have to keep that in mind, because it puts you at ease, and it also puts them at ease when you aren't an anxious mess. So those would probably be my biggest bits of advice. Just be yourself, be personable, and do your research. That's a massive one, because people can definitely tell when you do that.
For sure. And how about what's next for AMBY or for you? Anything you could let the fans know about where they could probably see you next, or more importantly, where they can catch up on all your interviews and social media? Can you let the fans out there know anything and everything about finding you online and just where to see you next?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a lot of shows coming up, and you can find all of those if you follow me on social media. And there's a lot of stuff I can't announce. There's actually some stuff I firmed up this morning that's exciting. So there's a lot coming your way. You're going to see me in a lot of places. So if you head to aliciaatout.com, all my links are there, but it is facebook.com/AliciaAtoutInterviews. On Twitter and Instagram, it's just at Alicia Atout. Very simple. So if you just type that name up, you will find me. And I love talking with my fans. So any follow, I seriously appreciate. Say hello. I will say hi back. And I can't wait to meet a bunch of you at these places I'm going to be.
Perfect. Well, Alicia, I wish you a happy new year. Nothing but the best in 2019. I know this is kind of brief, but at the same time, I hope we can do it again. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, it was such a pleasure being on. Happy New Year, Steve. Happy New Year to all of the listeners. And I can't wait to be back.
One of the things that did break on January 1st, All Elite Wrestling, AEW, is official. We got some contracts signed. But at the same time, well, first of all, tell me your reaction about this, and then I want to talk about another side to it, because there's kind of a downside to it, if you will, which we'll get into. But is this exciting? Do you think AEW could spark a new era for pro wrestling? Outsiders? I don't know.
I think it's a big thing. I mean, we all saw it coming. I mean, these days you can't hide anything from the interwebs. You can't. Fucking wipe your ass the wrong way, it's on the fucking dirt sheets. It's crazy how that shit gets out there. But we all knew. We saw it coming. We knew it was happening. We're just a moment of time. Is it a big deal? We don't know yet. We don't know how big it is. I mean, we know Khan is throwing a lot of money behind it, and he wants to be a real competitor. Now, they got all that money in the world, but who they got talent-wise? I mean, they're not going to – I don't know if they're going to be doing any talent sharing with Ring of Honor. I don't know if they're going to be doing talent sharing with New Japan, because I'm sure New Japan has a contract where they can't do any talent sharing with any other promotions in the United States other than Ring of Honor. So who do they have other than the cast from the Elite? That's my question. Is who do they have to show us that they're going to be the Elite wrestling? That's my concern.
Yeah, and that was, I think, the biggest downside, because it's like, yeah, we know like Cody and the Bucks, and they're all executive vice whatevers, but at the same time, I mean, okay, well, what else? Who else is coming? Like, who else is going to join? Who else is going to sign? Biggest thing is no TV. There's no show on the horizon. It's just a name. It's just like, like almost like a Jeff Jarrett Global Force Wrestling, where he made this big company, but he couldn't sell it to anybody. And now we have these guys who have a name, But hopefully, will it land a big TV deal? I mean, I know Jeff Jarrett, he couldn't sell Global Force to anybody, and he worked on that for years. I mean, he even had shows produced and taped, and granted, it's a little bit different, but he had some names on there, but nobody would buy it. So, okay, yes, now they do have some money behind it, but still, I mean, there's no, like, what other names are signed, or who's going to be signed, and do you think after Wrestle Kingdom, do you think Kenny Omega would exclusively sign with this company that really doesn't have anything going yet?
All I know is that there's a pep rally on Tuesday before SmackDown in Jacksonville. SmackDown's in Jacksonville, and the pep rally is about 3 hours before SmackDown airs. So, I mean, maybe a lot of our questions will be answered there. Cooter, I'm gonna throw something at you. I want to see what your opinion on this is. You know, Cody Rhodes is your executive vice president, a.k.a. the Booker 2. So are the Young Bucks. Do you think these guys are going to have egos kind of like WCW? And you think they're going to be booking themselves in championship roles? And we got another Kevin Nash, Hollywood Hogan problem going?
Is Cody going to be like his old man was?
He could be.
I mean, I hate saying that because we all love Dusty, but I mean, God, we've seen this throughout time. I mean, Vern Gagne booked himself champion in AWA how many times? Sometimes when you're in the top, or you're an owner, or you have something in stake in a promotion, the only person you can really trust is yourself. Are these guys going to put trust in other people? This is going to take time. We can't sit here and be like, oh man, they don't have TV, they don't have this, they don't have that. You're going to have to wait a little while. I mean, this is kind of reminding me of like WCW early 90s. You know, it was really trash at the beginning, and then you had to wait a couple of years in the 90s when you got a Hogan and then you got a Savage. It's going to take time, but eventually some of these people in WWE might become disgruntled enough to where, hey, let's try and go greener pastures. You know, it's just not going to happen overnight. You're going to need a couple of game changers to leave WWE, because right now they got a good 65-70% of the top talent in the country, if not the world, locked up under contract. So we'll see what happens.
I agree with the whole waiting it out and seeing what it is, but do you think the internet and like these people are going to be able to have that attention span to just wait patiently? I mean, because of the hype behind them, I don't think a lot of fans are going to be able to wait that long. That's just me.
Yeah, especially this now, give me era.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they want to see stuff now.
They want it now, especially when they announced All or Nothing, which they haven't even confirmed what that is exactly yet.
Yeah, and what about this guy, the president? What's his name? Jacksonville Jaguars executive Tony Khan. Now, you know, he's a rich guy, but is he a billionaire Ted kind of rich guy? I don't know. Right now, they say that he is in talks with multiple networks about a possible television deal for 2019. So I'm kind of curious of how much money he's going to open up for these guys. You know, I mean, Ted Turner, and they were lucky with WCW where they just opened the pocketbooks and just kind of drained all the money as much as they could to make WCW happen and be a competition for WWE. I wonder if Khan is kind of like has that same mentality to where, does he want to try to compete with WWE? Granted, I know WWE is its own kind of a monster, but if you have a great TV deal and people, the kind of wrestling people want to see, and you're going up against WWE where they're showing like, I feel like WWE's in that generation of Doink the Clowns, Duke the Dumpsters right now, and it's like they can be silly and they don't have nothing to compete against. But if AEW gets a serious TV deal on a serious station, unlike Ring of Honor, who's like seen in like 13 acres of a farm right now, I want them to get a global national deal with like a big station, and that I think will probably put money where their mouth is, I guess, on what they could possibly do.
I don't think that happens, Credo. I don't think that happens because Raw is on a great network. USA is an amazing network. And dude, SmackDown is going to network television. It's going to fucking Fox, bro. It doesn't get any better than that. It doesn't get any bigger than Fox.
Here's my thing. I brought this up. A lot of people agree and disagree. I want to get your guys' opinion on this. I think the smart thing to do is maybe Triple H gets involved somehow and tries to work out a working agreement. It benefits both parties. It puts AEW on a platform like NXT, and it helps Triple H book the Young Bucks and get them in some one-off matches. I mean, they're not competing going head-to-head with Ring of Honor anymore because they moved to NXT TakeOver to the Friday now instead of the Saturday. But they can have probably a card that can top WrestleMania weekend if they could work out some partnership, some working agreement, kind of like how New Japan and Ring of Honor has that working agreement where guys can go back and forth and book it all like that. And I'm sitting here thinking about this, and then there's one, if that were to ever happen, if just say they were just like, look, we're going to help you guys out, we're going to put some of you guys and spotlight AEW on TakeOver. One match came to mind, and that's one match that everybody has been waiting for 2 years that realistically would never happen. But when you think about it, why don't you just put the Young Bucks at TakeOver versus the Revival? They're not doing anything on the main roster right now. And if you could get that done, you could book something to where, you film a TakeOver and all of a sudden a car backstage pulls up and it's the Revival, and you have one of the fucking interviewers asking what they're doing here, and they're like, we don't know what we're doing here either. We were called by Triple H to be here, and we're here. They go out to the ring, and they announce that they have a challenge for them on the table for TakeOver, and it's the Young Bucks.
Oh, yeah.
I think that would fucking blow the roof off the internet.
Some other things happening, though, too. Some names in the closet. I mean, there were reports of Chris Jericho and Jim Ross possibly working with them. I know Jim Ross can't say anything. He's still under WWE contract. Jericho can kind of pretty much do what he wants, but I wonder if that would piss off WWE a lot if he kind of, like, does something with them, whether it's a backstage role or on TV role or something. But even those names, and I was just looking up, like, there literally is nobody, like we talked, nobody signed with them. The only roster is Cody, Matt Jackson, Nick Jackson, Hangman Page, Brandy Rhodes, and now Britt Baker are the only names assigned to AEW. So
SCU's not on there?
Nope, not. This is, I'm looking at some. I don't know what I'm looking at. I just Googled.
I could have sworn the SCU's there too, but.
No, yeah, and then that's the thing too is what about after Wrestle Kingdom? Do you think Kenny Omega would sign exclusively with this that doesn't even have anything yet? And
no.
I mean, it can't be like an exclusive. Like if he signs with them, okay, but he better have that contract where he can still wrestle New Japan or something, right?
I don't think Kenny leaves Japan. I mean, he lives in Japan, so I don't know if he's gonna leave anytime soon.
Keeping the elite together. I don't know.
And then you got Marty Scurll still under contract for
another year.
For another year with his Villain Enterprises with PCO and who's the other dude? Which is it's a completely odd group.
It's the oddities.
It's a weird group that they paired together with Marty Scurll.
Let me ask you a question. Who the fuck potentially could chuck the most cash at Kenny Omega right now?
Vince.
Yeah.
There you go. And I think at this point in his career, he's done what he's wanted to do for himself. Guys like AJ Styles did the exact same thing. They did things for themselves and for their legacies and build a name for themselves to where they could make the max money when they finally do get to WWE. Look what AJ Styles was. And now look what he is in WWE. I think Kenny Omega could be that next AJ Styles. And just even if it's for a year, a 2-year deal where they can work out some of these dream match possibilities, these WrestleMania moments. Short term, I say he goes to WWE. I really have a feeling. Now's the time where you get that max deal, just like you would in any other fucking sport.
Yeah, I kind of hate how these guys just sit back and like, no, I don't want to do it. No, I don't want to do it. Like the Young Bucks. Granted, I'm sure they're making plenty of money right now and doing what they want to do, but they ain't going to stay Young Bucks forever. You know what I mean? There's going to come a time to where it's like the Sting. You're like, oh, Sting's not going to WWE, not going to WWE. And then when he finally goes, he's too fucking old, injures himself after one fucking match, and then he's done. Like, that's your legacy now. Like, you came into WWE and you did shit. So it's like, Yeah, it was kind of hokey right now, but now that we're in that new era, right, where the fans say anything goes or whatever it is. So hopefully, I know the last 2 weeks we didn't get anything out of the Christmas shows and the New Year's shows, but hopefully things will start turning around a little bit to what we really want to see, and they don't keep playing this hokey BS stuff that they give us. But AEW, man, I don't know. I think honestly the first big thing coming out of it will probably be that Double or Nothing pay-per-view, which will probably could be their first moneymaker or first true tell of what this company could do. I mean, I'm sure they probably won't have anything or any shows until Double or Nothing, and then from there we'll probably get maybe a TV show or something. So they're probably gonna have to build towards that.
And you won't see anything with them WrestleMania weekend because that entire, I mean, people are booking arenas and events that weekend a year in advance. Like once the WWE announces where they're going next year, that's when people start booking places. So I don't see them doing anything. That's why my idea of like, maybe them doing a partnership with TakeOver with NXT with Triple H just to get their name out there on that platform just so people could see them, and it benefits both parties in my opinion. But I think if they're going to pull a show, it's probably going to be maybe summertime. I mean, it gives them enough time.
Well, I got a question for both of you guys. Now, Ring of Honor made the announcement that they were going to have an MSG show, WrestleMania weekend. Now, when they say Ring of Honor MSG show, in your mind, did you think Cody and the Young Bucks and so were going to be a part of the show? And now that they're not a part of the show, does this Ring of Honor show still appeal to you? And I mean, I know it's still a big deal, but not having any of these guys involved with it doesn't matter.
All right. It's funny because we talked about this briefly. It doesn't matter. That fucking show is already sold out. So they've made their money on the fucking gate. At this point now, you need something that's going to draw some streaming sales or pay-per-view sales or whatever the fuck it is that Ring of Honor even does. It's tough. I mean, that roster is definitely going to be hurting. I mean, Cody's a big name for them. The Bucks are a big deal for them. Who's really, not to say that they don't have a lot of talent left there, but I mean, it's starting to become slim pickings. WWE has restocked their shelves with a lot of Ring of Honor talent, and it's getting to that point where it's like, all right, you guys were making a buzz for a little while there. You're doing some good things, and you were making some big stars, but can you continue to do that? Make new stars?
Here's the thing with that. I mean, I think that the reason why that sold out, one, was because, it's history being made. I mean, you never saw any other wrestling promotion ever in Madison Square Garden. So I think that's the main reason. But another part of that reason, I feel like, is people, were thinking the Young Bucks were going to be there. Cody Rhodes, the Elite. They thought those guys were going to be on that show too. So that plays a factor in it being sold out. But does this sell it to you now that the Cody's gone, the Young Bucks are gone, and allegedly the main event for that card is going to be Jay Lethal defending the ROH title versus Marty Scurll? Is that a main event for you guys at Madison Square Garden?
Oof.
Not really.
No. Here's the other question that I want to ask you guys. I mean, when you think of Ring of Honor, you think of a company that's really slowly but surely built its way up. Over the years has lost a lot of their talent, but has kept going, has kept rising. Why are people who have made this company as high as it's ever been all of a sudden walking away to do their own thing? Yeah. What's the motivation here? Is there a beef with Ring of Honor?
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but good things about the management there.
I know.
I don't get it. But I mean, it's interesting. I mean, they have to start building that card up soon. The only thing that allegedly is out is Jay Lethal versus Marty Scurll. That allegedly, now I could be wrong. This could be completely wrong, but the way they booked Final Battle with those two standing in the ring staring at each other, they pretty much started planting seeds for that main event. But then you also got to remember too, that's not just Ring of Honor. It's New Japan. So New Japan's going to bring over the best that they offer to that card too. So you're going to have, I mean, as of right now, Kenny Omega could possibly still be at Madison Square Garden. We technically don't know the status of his contract. Who else? I mean, Chris Jericho is a name that they need to be at that Ring of Honor card. They need him. Will he do it? We don't know. I mean, there's other names. Okada in Ring of Honor. I mean, Okada in Madison Square Garden is something that a lot of fans are going to want to see. Tanahashi. They got amazing guys in New Japan that can help build that card. But without the Young Bucks, without Cody Rhodes, to me, I don't think the card is as powerful as it was when that sold out back in August or September, whenever it did sell out.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, though. What's to say that they don't show up and just do a one-off anyway?
That could happen, too.
Yeah.
I mean, if they want to work in agreement with that.
Well, how about this? Who's shaking in their boots right now? Because when you talk of pro wrestling, it's WWE, right? And then you work your way down the ladder. You got Impact Wrestling, you got Ring of Honor, and then underneath that, you got all the little ones from Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, Evolve, and so on and so forth. Now that we have All Elite Wrestling, granted, we just have a name pretty much and a few people. As it grows, who starts to get worried that, now we're getting kind of washed out? Is Impact Wrestling that just got moved to, the Puppy Channel or something recently? They got what are they on now? The Animal Planet, I think they got to deal with. Who's starting to shake in their boots that, because when you look at the names and stuff, I mean, the wrestling fans love All Elite. They love the Elite. They love the Bullet Club. They love all that stuff, right? But nobody cares about Impact Wrestling anymore. It's just, it is what it is. It's on the station, and it's somehow still going. So do we see a lot of people just jumping ship to that, and they kind of gut Impact, and then Impact just has to fold and close kind of a thing? Do you think anybody out there is probably scared of AEW and their rise?
That's crazy. I get what you're trying to say, but I kind of notice with the indies, it's very much like how the territories were.
Yeah.
Like Ring of Honor is kind of like the Northeast. You've always made mention about a promotion from California that you've been dying. Is that PWG or
PWG?
Yeah.
Right. So I mean that's like a West Coast indie promotion, so on and so forth. I really think it depends where it's based out of. It's kind of like that territory situation right now with the indies.
Well, I mean, Ring of Honor, they still travel all over the place. They're in Canada, they're on the West Coast all the time, East Coast. They're mainly on the East Coast, but they do travel. But I get what you're saying. Like, you have NXT, which is based out of Orlando.
Yes.
PWG, which is over in California. I mean, I don't really know exactly where Ring of Honor is really based out of, honestly. I want to say Baltimore, but I could be wrong. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting to see what happens in the next couple of months with independent wrestling. I mean, now my question is this: AEW. I mean, with the amount of money that this guy Khan has, do you consider an independent promotion, or do you consider it like something that could potentially, be not as big as the WB, but on
here we
that
are
level?
Putting the fucking carriage ahead of the horse. Let's move on already.
I'm just asking a simple question.
Again, we're putting the fucking horse behind the carriage. Supposed to pull the carriage. Let's see what happens, man, and let's move on. This is boring me.
Well, we'll see what happens with AEW in the year to come. But guys, it's a new year. I find it funny when people post things on social media, especially what could we see happen? What do you fans want to see happen? So I came across this WWE Instagram story, a look ahead on what we could see. And the funny thing is, it's almost like it's not a what if, it's almost like, hey, we're going to see this, but what do you think about it kind of a thing. So it's kind of like a testing the waters, how are the fans reacting to this. So guys, let me read some of the stuff that they have on a look ahead, and I want to see if we agree with some of what they posted on this thing. So first and foremost...
Well, let me ask you a question. Are we supposed to determine whether we think it's going to happen or whether we want this to happen?
Yeah, whether it will happen and if you want it to happen,
Okay,
So
right.
either way.
Okay.
All right, so one of the things they posted on there is Braun Strowman as Universal Champion. Is it inevitable?
That's going to happen.
I don't think it happens. I don't think they have faith in him. I think they have faith in him as a good, strong face, but I don't think they see him as a title. They're building Drew McIntyre, and I really have a feeling he's going to be that next guy.
And this would be the second time, I think, at the Rumble, right, that he would have fought Braun for the championship. So he did what at the Saudi Arabia show, right, where they had to book him in it, and he kind of jobbed them out really quick, especially for a guy who's been so dominant. And now for him to have another match at the Royal Rumble, do you think Brock is going to carry that championship all the way to Mania, or do they just want to get it off him?
Oh, I don't know. We're gonna have to see, dude.
It's weird.
That's a toss-up.
Yeah.
You know, my thing with this is, I mean, if you're gonna have a guy like Seth Rollins win the Rumble, then yeah, keep the belt on Brock.
Yes.
That's a match I would like to see. But if you put the belt on Braun, I mean, I don't know how interested of a Rollins Braun match I would be into. I don't know where my interest level sparks with that.
Other interesting thing with Braun, Mike, though, is he's still injured. He's just having an elbow surgery. What's a recovery for something like that? And is he going to be, at 100% to where he can do the things that we enjoy doing?
It'd be fine. His elbow surgery was, I think, with bone spurs. He got it a couple weeks before TLC. He wasn't ready for TLC, but he should be good within the next week or so.
Well, he returns to Raw Monday, and we still got 4 weeks or so till the Rumble. So we still got about a month for him to at least heal for it. So, Braun is the champ, could be on the horizon for us. One of the things we didn't get to, or I don't think we even mentioned, but Santa Vince McMahon, Santa Mac, or whatever you want to call him, Santa Vince, announced in the weirdest way ever that the women's tag team championships are on the way. It was the weirdest thing ever for the Christmas edition of Raw, but he announced it, and he announced it, and on one of the little stories on Instagram says, "Could we see the Bella Twins as the first women's tag team champions?"
Is there going to be one set of belts for both shows?
I'm assuming it's going to be a Raw SmackDown kind of thing, but
that I would be okay with.
I don't know if they have enough.
They got a lot. When you go on these fucking rosters and you look at who's on the roster and just in particular who's not even being used, they got a lot of people on both rosters.
It's almost as if, I think it's almost like they're going to put all the women in just tag team matches and then only focus on one-on-one match for whoever who has the women's championship. So it's not like, all these women trying to fight for the championship every week. So it's almost, I don't know. I think that they'll probably do that with them, group them all together.
I honestly, it's great the women are getting tag team titles. I honestly think they're going to fuck it up somehow. I really do.
The Bellas? No? Or did you see anybody else? A Bailey and Sasha kind of winning it?
That's a given.
Yeah.
Bellas? All right.
We've always been wondering, why haven't they turned Sasha yet? Why haven't they done this? And I think this is the reason why, because they had the idea of women tag team titles. And that's why we had to deal with this freaking boss hug connection for a lot more longer than what we wanted to.
Yeah. Well, okay, how about some of these other things going on? A lot of people going to SmackDown they had on this little Instagram story, like a Finn Balor to SmackDown. Do you think we'll see that?
Please!
Much better, more appreciation on that show.
Get him as a WWE champ, possibly a Finn Balor versus Daniel Bryan. That would be a good matchup.
The guys on that roster though, like Finn Balor versus Almas.
AJ Styles.
Oh my
AJ
God.
Styles. The potential of matches on there, just move them over already, Vince.
One thing we've always been talking about pretty much for the past few weeks, Ronda versus Becky was another post for them. Pretty much, is it inevitable we're going to see that this year?
I say main events WrestleMania, goddammit.
They
pull the trigger. I think they're pulling the trigger on it. Now it's hot as the time as ever to really get that buzz. Oh,
I had this conversation with somebody I work with, and we were talking about it to where he went to the Madison Square Garden show the day after Christmas, and they had the main event was Ronda versus Nia Jax. I think Raw past few weeks or something, other shows past few weeks, they've been having a lot of women main event stuff. Now, do you think we're just going to get a lot of these women main eventing and then WrestleMania, they're the co-main event? Or is it just building up to where this year they get the main event kind of a thing? And main event as in the last fucking match on the show. That's the main event.
That's what I'm saying. I hate when they do this. Ever since WrestleMania 8, this was the first time I remember for a WrestleMania it's a double main event.
Yeah.
It was Randy Savage and Ric Flair halfway through the show. And then Hogan and Sid Justice closing the show with the return of Papa Shango and the Ultimate Warrior out of nowhere. Made no fucking sense. That being said, I always hated that. The main event, there's only one main event, and the main event closes the fucking show.
There you go.
I said, you're closing the show with Becky Lynch and Ronda. That's the one thing that the women have not done yet is main event a WrestleMania.
I think that should close WrestleMania, but if they throw Charlotte in there, I think it kind of loses its mystique a little bit because I like the triple threats, don't get me wrong, but I think that's the type of WrestleMania main event where like you need to have that traditional one-on-one, that special feeling, that type of match. I don't think a triple threat will close Mania. I think the one-on-one will.
Sure. Well, we're only a few months out.
Do you actually think, though, Ronda is capable of that? I mean, she's a great athlete, don't get me wrong. But she hasn't really been under that main event pressure. And let's be honest.
Hold on. No, I got to stop you right there.
Oh,
main event pressure.
Yeah, I know where you're going with this. Yeah, big fight. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Here's the thing. I think she's going to be, I mean, granted, Ronda is definitely way more advanced than what we thought she was going to be. She's like a modern-day Kurt Angle, how quickly he progressed in the sport. I mean, a triple threat match, that could protect her a little more. I mean, granted, you can give a lot of spots to Charlotte and to Becky, but me personally, I mean, for my own selfish reasons too, I want to see the one-on-one.
Yeah, it's something that has to start at the Royal Rumble. I know we always say it in years past that, they got to get rid of the pay-per-view in between Rumble and Mania and just build that whole show in between it. And, she's that name. People are going to put her on ESPN, any news show, any whatever. It's Ronda Rousey. And if they say Ronda Rousey's the main event with Becky Lynch, that's going to probably draw a lot of press for them. So that's a definite thing happening. But guys, one thing I cringed at was a Cena in NXT picture. Do you think we could see John Cena go down to NXT for anything? Does that help anybody?
Parents? No. It would have made sense last year when he was trying to find like his groove and him just kind of making a one-off appearance and on an episode. But no, I don't want to see that.
Don't ruin it.
Yeah. I don't want to see that.
There's a ton of stuff I'm not going to get into, but all right, one thing that piqued my interest was a Wyatt family reunion. We tried the whatever brothers, the fucking Thor brothers with their Thor hammers.
The Bludgeon Brothers.
they one of them's been injured for a while. They haven't been on TV. Wyatt, they haven't done anything since the final deletion kind of a thing.
Yo.
And so, do we just stop trying to reinvent these guys and just do what worked before and put them back together as the Wyatt family?
Yo, somebody explain to me how Eric Rowan has a job. He's only healthy about 3 months out of every fucking year. He's always hurt. And it sucks because he was in a fucking tag team with Luke Harper, who I absolutely think is awesome. Could be a single star, at least like a mid-card guy.
He was an IC champion.
He was, and he was a good IC champion. Though that feud with Dolph Ziggler was legendary. But I could see him having these awesome matches with somebody could you imagine Luke Harper and Apollo Crews? I don't know why that's appealing to me, but it really is.
Well,
I don't know.
It is interesting.
Right. That's all I got to say about that. So when Eric Rowan comes back, we'll see a Wyatt family reunion for about 3 months, and then the upside down Sheamus will stub his toe. And fucking go back to tugging his pecker for another 9 fucking months.
Well, that's true. How about The Rock entering the WWE Hall of Fame? They put up a picture of The Rock with the WWE Hall of Fame behind him. Is that a given maybe this year?
We got to check his schedule, bro.
Check his schedule. You busy? You're making Jumanji 28? What are we doing?
Check the schedule, and we'll get back.
He's too busy taking over the Fast franchise.
He's on TV right now. He's on the Titans. Games. Titan Games. He's got his own Titan show, and then fucking
that motherfucker is everywhere.
Everywhere, fucking
that
Rock.
Dude turned into like America's sweetheart. I mean, everywhere you go, that motherfucker is everywhere. Everybody fucking loves this guy. Vince must be so mad, right now. He can't use him as much as he wants to.
More.
Jesus Christ, when Vince gets him, fuck John Cena. I'm going in the fucking bathroom to masturbate to this motherfucker and the money I'm going to be making.
We're back.
I don't care how many wristbands you sold, John. Rocky's that shit.
Man, The Rock, and the leverage that The Rock has. The Rock can go out there and do whatever the fuck he wants, and they ain't going to say shit to him. Like, remember when he went out there and he called CM Punk in front of a live audience? He called CM Punk. Sure, Vince is going to get mad. Vince can't fire him. Vince ain't stupid. He knows how much of a draw The Rock could be with the mainstream media. Jesus Christ. I want to have that leverage. I want to go to fucking work. And I want to find those womanists. And I just want to start saying a whole bunch of stuff and just no one can fire me. I'm untouchable.
Do we have any fucking stories? Any backlash since you've been back to work, Mike?
No backlash. You know, they don't say shit to me. I don't say shit to them. I keep my distance.
Man, check out.
Did you get your hat yet?
No, I haven't gotten it yet. I should.
For more about this, check out past episodes on AWP. Guys, all right, we keep looking into this looking glass. We're still in 2019, the very early stages. They threw out Triple H versus Batista. I know, we had a little bit of a mention on that when Batista returned for the 1000th whatever SmackDown. Then I think Triple H got hurt, tore his pec, or did something at Saudi Arabia, right? And then I don't know how long of a recovery is that. Do you think we're gonna get a Batista Triple H match at WrestleMania? Has to be WrestleMania.
I'm sure Triple H is just fine. They probably injected him with tons of HGH. He's probably fully healed. He's ready to tear another quad. He's gonna be fucking in the same hospital bed with fucking Eric Rowan. That's fantastic. I mean, I'd be okay with seeing that as like a bathroom break at WrestleMania during that 12-hour fucking show.
Don't remind me because I'm going to be there.
You bought tickets? Oh, you poor bastard.
Yeah, I bought tickets just to go, and my tickets, honestly, they suck. Okay, let me just a little segue here. They suck. They really do. I'm debating on selling them. This is how bad they are because... So let me explain my frustrations of buying WrestleMania tickets, okay? I'm sure a lot of people dealt with the same shit. It's not like how it used to be where once the tickets are available, you could just sign on, pick your tickets, and go. No, they put you in a fucking virtual waiting room, okay? They put you in a waiting room on Ticketmaster.com. I couldn't believe this shit. And it took about a half hour to get to the front of the line, okay? So then I get to the front of the line, I get tickets. The only thing they're giving me is upper deck. Okay, so I got an upper deck seats. I got 2 seats. They were like level with the 50-yard line. Okay, cool. Now I have to sign in to fucking Ticketmaster, which my dumbass forgot to do. And that. So I'm trying to sign in. I don't fucking remember my fucking password.
Oh.
So now I have to fucking scroll, and I'm racing against the clock here. And all of a sudden, I'm trying to figure it out. Then I'm trying to get them to send me the link so I can reset my password, and it's taking forever. And I'm hitting the resend. Nothing is coming. Finally, when the clock gets to 0, all of a sudden I get like 12 freaking reset password links. So I reset my password. Had to go back into the virtual waiting room, waiting another 30 minutes.
Worst.
Finally got tickets. Oh no, I kept picking tickets, right? The second time I was in there, I kept picking. All right, I'm pick these 2 tickets. Oh, another user got them. Please try again. And that finally got 2 tickets in the upper deck behind the stage. Yeah, I'm up there behind the stage.
Well, good news is we're going to be selling off 2 WrestleMania tickets if anybody's looking for them on.
Wait. So for these 2 shit seats, Mike, what was the grand total?
It was under $100 because that's all they had available. That's all they would give me. I was willing to spend more than that. I was way willing to spend. I was trying to get lower seats, and they just wouldn't give it to me. They kept giving me upper deck, upper deck, upper deck. Every time I tried to click lower, they said unavailable. Please select again. The only options they gave me were upper
And there's
deck.
no way that they're sold out.
I looked on Ticketmaster. The only tickets that are available are floor seats.
What
And
are
there's a
those
lot of. Oh my God! The cheapest one I think was like $4,000.
What? It's predetermined. God damn it.
Yeah, I know, right? Jesus Christ! But yeah, I'm sitting behind the stage, so anything that happens on the stage, I won't be able to see it. Finn Balor has a demon entrance. I'm not gonna see it. You know, at least there's gonna be 3 great WrestleMania entrances this year because there's always big entrances. I'm not gonna be able to see it. I'm gonna be behind the fucking stage.
But
you won't be able to see the Randy Orton sperm on the fucking walkway?
No, I won't be able to see that.
You could make it on TV if you piss from the upper deck and it lands as they're coming out on them. Like, that'll make for a WrestleMania moment they can't take back, and then
They can
that's.
fucking rain.
Well, how about we look into the crystal ball? What are the chances that Mike sells his WrestleMania tickets before WrestleMania? Is we gonna?
I'd say that's about 100% chance.
It's very highly because when I get this tax return money like that coming in, I'm going to reinvest in some other tickets, and I'm going to sell these fucking tickets because I'm not going to sit behind the fucking stage. No.
As long as they don't listen to episode 204 of Another Wrestling Podcast where you put over those seats very badly. Okay, we keep going. A few more things in 2019 besides the bad seats. Guys, Velveteen Dream is NXT champion. I know he's trying to push to get on the main roster, but could we see him as the next champion?
You know what? I think that could happen.
I know he says that anything error he wanted people to tweet out to get him on the main roster, but come on.
Is he still on the list of Credo?
No, he's not on the list of Credo because he's matured. He's off of it. He's made it
He's
through.
the only person.
I don't like the name Velveteen though. I think if they call him the Dream, I'd like it a lot more. But that's just personal preference.
So I think he's the only person to ever have put on the list of Credo and taken off.
That's it. He's made it into the Hall Credo. He's
not even Jason Jordan, who's nowhere to be found.
Please don't make him relevant
been
again.
Removed from the list of Credo.
Never will. And another funny thing is that they put Shayna coming to Raw as a little teaser too, and I was like, are we gonna get the 4 horsewomen this year versus the 4 horsewomen of wrestling?
That'll be Survivor Series, I bet you.
They'll probably get them all up there.
I mean, Vince will see that as a money grab, and he'll do it so quickly. But realistically, the other 2, they're not really ready for that type of spotlight, I think, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But Vince, knowing him, knowing how much money that can draw, yeah, that would happen. Vince will blow his load. You talk about Survivor Series, that shit's happening at freaking Battleground.
Well,
I see. You got to be honest. I think if they do that at like a Survivor Series, Marina Shafir and fucking Jessamine Duke are gonna get fucking jobbed out quick anyway.
I don't disagree with you. I think the time is for Survivor Series, if they do decide to do something like that, is perfect. But we all know how Big Daddy Vince is freaking over there. Just gotta freaking blow his load so quickly because he doesn't know what the word patience is.
You know what? We haven't done this in quite a while, folks. Mike Colon, pitch the 4 horsewomen versus the 4 horsewomen as Vince McMahon.
You know what?
To Kevin Dunn.
I can't do it right now, unfortunately, and I hate to because just like Credo, I am also getting over, or I think I'm getting sick. So my Vince McMahon impression, even though it's not as
it's like
I just won't. I'm just gonna make myself sound like an ass. So I'm gonna skip that for right now.
Save it for a YouTube exclusive. We'll do that on there. Well, Cooter, how about this one? Now, tell me your thoughts about this, and then tell me your thoughts about this. So the first this was HBK returned with DX this year in Dubai for the greatest in your house, or I don't know what the fuck they had, right? The HBK returned this year for the first time ever to actually have a match, but they put up a picture on their Instagram story of HBK versus Daniel Bryan. Are we going to get more HBK matches this year, or is that just because he probably got paid $400 million just to show his face and wrestle? Is he going to stay retired, or do you think we're going to see more HBK this year?
You know what? He proved that he could still do it in a tag match situation. And oddly enough, he kind of had to carry that match once Triple H got hurt. So the burden of the rest of that match did fall on HBK because Triple H wrestled the rest of that match with one arm. Props to Triple H for doing that, but props to Shawn Michaels for just saying, fuck it, I'm doing a moonsault to the outside of the fucking ring like it's 1999 and like I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind it. I would like to see a different opponent. I think I would love in a dream match situation. I get it. Yeah, he trained Daniel Bryan partially. But I would much rather see a Shawn Michaels Seth Rollins or a Shawn Michaels AJ Styles. I just think that at his advanced age, a guy like an AJ or a guy like Seth could carry the burden of basically doing for Shawn what Shawn did for Flair in his retirement match. I don't think Daniel can do that.
No, I mean, I think it's a great match, but I can't disagree at all with Cooter. I think it's, I don't think I could buy into it, but I don't think I'd be as invested. I'd want to see somebody who can definitely get that rub, who needs that rub. I mean, Daniel Bryan is going to be on top of the world regardless, but those names that Cooter mentions are names that, would work with that too. But I think I mentioned this a couple months ago. Put him against one of the top heels in the company, Tommaso Ciampa. That match right there. You can build a story off of that somehow, some way. That would be epic.
Because doesn't he work down in NXT?
Yeah.
He's a trainer down there. And I brought this up when I talked about this. One of his favorite students is Johnny Gargano. Guy praises Johnny Gargano on Twitter as if it was like his own child. Like, seriously, I mean, right now they got the storyline with the DIY convincingly might be getting back together, but if you had that hatred between those two, which it's going to come back, you can use that. How much he loves Gargano all the time. You could take out Shawn Michaels somehow, some way, and that could create, a build up to a match.
Yeah, for sure. And as long as it's not something over and over again, like Triple H does the once a year kind of thing now. It'd have to be like once or twice a year, or once. I mean, he's running out of time, so it's like you have one or two good matches left, maybe, just to showcase him without making him look like a Ric Flair kind of thing. So, guys, a little bit. We talked a lot about predictions, things that could happen with this whole little WWE Instagram story. I want to hear your thoughts as we close out the first show in 2019. And a lot of people online I've been seeing lately. You got some of these people that they hate the negativity of what people say about wrestling. How people are always so negative. They always want to be so cheery. Does that make you upset? Does that piss you off? Or do you hate that people just always have to be positive about everything they see? Or is it good that we get to vent about the stuff that we see and let our feelings be known? I mean, a lot of people just want to be positive. We got to be positive. Cooter, you're the angry one. Best who to start with than you. What do you have to say about people who always just want to say, oh, make it positive. Let's make wrestling positive. Is there something that you could say to them about why we vent?
Yeah, suck a dick with AIDS at the tip, you fucking losers. Let me tell you something. As a fucking buyer of merchandise, of products, if you're not happy with what you're getting, you can't get a company to change it unless you voice your displeasure. And then if enough people in this consumer-based economy complain enough, maybe, just maybe, we'll get something worth watching. I don't care what people are still really nitpicking, but I want to say the last 2 weeks, there have been some positive points. We haven't done a 360 or a 180, whatever the fuck you want to say, but they're making strides in the right direction. I enjoyed the Apollo Crews little push there. Granted, we'll probably won't see him for another 2 months, but that's cool. But you understand what I'm saying. I'm seeing some different things. We're getting quality matches again. Let's see this trend continue.
What, are we going to church here or something? Fucking
Fuck
these kids
you.
are so... I'm not talking to you.
Oh, okay.
Fucking these people want positivity. Like, what the fuck they want? Like,
Give them some pancakes.
Seriously, like...
They get so mad at all the people trashing it pretty much on Twitter or social media, whatever.
Welcome to the world of the interweb, social media, where your feelings are going to get hurt or you might hurt someone's feelings. Who cares? If it bothers you that bad, there's this thing you can do. Ready? Everybody take notes. You take your phone. Log out of Twitter.
Oh, shit.
Put your phone down, face down, and go read a fucking book. Okay? Go do something else if it offends you that bad, or you're upset about something that somebody said on Twitter, that they said your favorite wrestler isn't good. Like, come on, man.
I love it.
Really? I don't know what the hell I'm talking about anymore. These people anger me.
I love it. You know, I'm just sick of seeing people trying to be positive all the time of the program, like you said, that we're pretty much paying our money, investing in these shirts and other things, and you know, I'm just sick of people. Cooter, what you reading, buddy? What's going on? But you know, it's just fun to talk about because you know, at another wrestling podcast. That's what we do. We like to talk about all the different things about it. You can't just sit here and be fucking happy for an hour talking like, I like this, I like this, I like this. Come on. You're not going to fucking like anything or everything. So welcome to 2019, guys. We'll be here for the rest of the year.
Hey, Cooter.
Yeah.
You want to talk about AEW?
Go fuck yourself, you piece of garbage. You are. Wait a minute. You know what? Can we be serious for a moment? Rest in peace to Mean Gene Okerlund. Real talk. That is like the voice of my childhood. That one really shook me.
It did.
And I'm going to be honest right now. Yeah. That shit really shook me when I heard it. So rest in peace. That is, like, again, the voice of my childhood. Fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's just like you said. Like, when I heard the news about Mean Gene, like, just like I hear the news about any other past superstar that passed away, you know, it sucks. For some reason with Mean Gene, like, it hit me a lot harder than most. And I was upset, actually, because Mean Gene that guy was hilarious. I mean, when you watch all the old stuff with him and Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Oh, God.
And TNT. You guys remember TNT, Tuesday Night Titans?
Yes. With
the interviews that he did. Or remember when he was working out with Hogan and Hogan was trying to get him to drink the raw egg?
Oh,
like, there's so many great. Or the classic, one of my all-time favorites, put that cigarette out during the Ric Flair interview.
Yes.
He's always a guy that nobody ever had anything bad to say about him too. You know, it was just great always listening to it. Even if you're in the other room and you heard him come on, you wanted to leave what you were doing to see who he was going to interview next. Definitely, he's the voice of our childhood for wrestling. I mean, he's the guy that interviewed Hogan and all these other classic stars during our time. He was that interview guy. So, you know, it's sad to see him go. I loved watching him on, what was that house on WWE Network where they all lived together?
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Legends House.
Legends House. He was funny because he's always just getting drunk. He's always just making drinks in the other room and stuff. So it was good. We had him on the show a few years ago, talked to him, and even when I called him then, he was making a drink, getting drunk. So it was a great guy to talk to. Always great to even meet him in person. Definitely a sad name to see go in 2019 so soon.
You know what's crazy with Mean Gene, and it's like, I think why it hits me so hard is whenever he was on television, he's that guy who was always on in between, like, every match, interviewing people backstage and doing all these segments. He would get so much TV time. It's like Jimmy Hart, who was like a manager for like 6-7 different people, and he'd be on the pay-per-view the whole fucking night. But that was Mean Gene. In between every match, it's like you always saw him. He was a guarantee, and that one, yeah, man. Fuck.
You know what? Another funny Mean Gene moment.
Oh, God.
And I hope I don't, like, slaughter it. And if you guys want to go check it out, it's on the network, where he was interviewing. I forgot who the lady was, but she was not attractive at all.
Oh.
And he was interviewing her, and she made a comment. She's like, "I will never lay down for anybody." And his response is, "Well, I thank you very much for that." Like, just in a sarcastic.
Yes.
In a sarcastic type of way, like, just the way his demeanor, how he delivered it, was like pretty much bashing her and shutting her down. It's just his delivery on things and everything. It's like he's one of those guys that, like I said, like it really did kind of hit me a little harder than most.
That the king of facial expressions and the king of no selling. You gotta watch It's from an old Nitro. It's my favorite Scott Steiner promo where he talks about, God, after Goldberg broke his face and how he likes to keep his freaks horizontal and so on and so forth. And Gene is just sitting there like this is the greatest promo ever, just listening to him. You gotta be fucking kidding me. How that guy could sit there with a straight face.
I mean, he was part of a lot of the best promos there ever been. I mean, he was a part of the cream of the crop promo with the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Now, did you guys even...
goes on and the beat goes on.
Did you guys feel though when... Because remember at the time WWE just kind of like got rid of all the old guys. I think the time that he showed up on WCW, I was like, I guess I'm gonna have to watch now, kind of a thing. To where, you know, it was like, oh, they got Hogan and this guy and that guy, but then they got Mean Gene over there to do the interviews. It was like, man, they're really making this like WWE 2.0 in a way. And it was like, well, I kind of want to watch this a little bit more, just because I have him as being one of the faces on that show. So
that's crazy you say that, because I mean, how many people who went from WWF to WCW really got to keep their name?
Yeah.
Like Hulk Hogan obviously gets to keep his name. Mean Gene Okerlund is obviously going to keep his name. But when you get guys like, oh God, Randy Savage, I don't ever think they referred to him as the Macho Man. I don't know if that was a WWE thing.
They did when he first came to WCW.
When he first came. But then when you had somebody like Brutus the fucking Barber Beefcake, who had like 60 different names when he got over there because of gimmick infringement. So I think it's like that name recognition and just that facial recognition. Like, oh, yeah, definitely drew me to Nitro.
Rest in peace, Mean Gene, guys. Well, on a sad note, but a happy note, anotherwrestlingpodcast.com. Happy New Year. We'll see you in the days to come.
Bitches. And don't tug your pecker, Credo.
All right.